right
Oh, let's talk about
after
everything.
CM Punk, after right after Punk debuted WWE, all the video views shattered, all that, whatever. After all of that, Fightful had reported that Bryan Danielson was revealed as the head of the disciplinary committee that terminated CM Punk from All Elite Wrestling.
You
I
shaking
have
your
my
head, Bangs?
opinions. I have my opinions, but I want y'all to
Nah, I
go
need to know
first.
why he's shaking his head.
Damn, I used to look up to y'all niggas. Remember Idols versus Rivals with Rick Ross? I'm
Yes,
rather you
sir.
than me. That's all it is, man. I used to look up to y'all, bruh. That's all CM Punk saying about the Dragon, bruh. Like, damn, bro. Remember ROH? We was getting it in. Pause. Now you snitching on me? It be your own, bruh. You see, Judah. What's it called, Judah? There you go.
Judas, yeah.
Yeah, Judas, bruh. Backstabbing me, man. It's all good. But hey, what if Daniel Bryan ain't on it? He like, oh, cool. We're gonna get you back to the E, bro. Because I might come back, bitch, with one eye.
Mo, what
Mm.
do you think?
I like said in previous times in the podcast that I feel like Daniel Bryan's the perfect like leader for AEW just because he's a veteran. But he's not too old. He's not like from Jericho's era. But he's a veteran enough per se. He's kind of like in the same category, sort of as CM Punk in my head, even though I know CM Punk came in beforehand in WWE than Daniel Bryan. But their come up, from my perception, was around the same time. That being said, with Daniel Bryan, you never like come across hearing him with drama. You never hear him complaining. He's always just kind of doing the right thing. He does what's best for business, and he gives people the best damn good match. He's just your guy. So I part of me doesn't want to believe it, but it makes logical sense that he would do this just because he's very logical. He's the logical based man at all times. And he probably was thinking about what was in the best interest of like the morale backstage. And backstage, there's obviously a lot of tension. Punk's a hothead. He flies off the mouth and says what he says in that exact moment. And allegedly, it got to a point where he got somewhat physical with Tony, whether it was just a shove. Um, Daniel probably thought, all right, well, if that's where we're at right now, and he feels like it's getting to this point where he wants to be physical back, even though it's technically not his fault because Jack Perry did start it, and the Elite technically did start it physically. He's probably just like, all right, Punk is too reactive, and not everyone's mixing well with him. Let's just try to move forward with the company without him. We got other good stars that we could probably try to put in his seat. I don't think it's the best business decision, but if you're looking from a morale standpoint, I could totally see Daniel Bryan doing that because Daniel Bryan doesn't strike me as a scumbag. Unfortunately, when it comes to the wrestling business, you do have to think a little bit selfishly and like a scumbag. You do. You
Mm.
know, you're going to have to make some people unhappy to do what's best for business. And sometimes that takes taking somebody that everyone hates and putting them in the driver's seat because that person knows how to put asses in seats, sorry, plural. And that is Punk. That is Punk. That being said, I don't disagree too much with Daniel's opinion because I see where he's coming from. But from a business standpoint, Punk is all they had. But that's Tony's fault, and I blame nobody but Tony because he didn't establish other people as hard as he did CM Punk. Maybe MJF, but he didn't really he put all his eggs in one basket, and that's where you fuck up as a businessman. So this is a learning experience for him. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But Brian, if he made that decision, I can't say it was a bad call, but it was a bad call in terms of what AEW is going to do for the next for the rest of the year or what they're going to do to challenge WWE going into WrestleMania. That's just my take. But I'm gonna pass over to you, Jordan. What do you think?
So I had to find the statement just to kind of see if what was reported was in alignment with the statement that was released on September 2nd by Tony Khan.
Mm.
So here's the full statement. Let me just click on this real quick. Not now. All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, general manager, and head of creative of AEW. Termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. So I looked that over and I read that over to say that everything kind of looks to be in alignment. It looks as if Khan had multiple kind of consultants, and it just seems to be that Brian Danielson was one of those consultants, right? One of the things that I've always said, especially over the past year, ever since I guess CM Punk's first incident, was I feel like Tony kind of stepped up the infrastructure and the order within AEW by employing people who were producers or employing people who could be mentors and coaches. It's interesting now because it seems like AEW is WWE-ifying their company as WWE is AEW-ifying their company. And I'll break it down in this way. It seems like AEW is trying to improve on the order and the structure, whereas WWE is trying to loosen their grip on creative control so that girls like Jade Cargill and guys like Cody Rhodes can look at going to WWE as a viable option, and it's more of looked at as a creative collaboration as opposed to a creative dictatorship that was kind of ran by Vince McMahon at one point in time. Um, as far as Brian Danielson's decision, was it sound? Yes, because of just the vibe in the locker room and stuff like that. Do I think it was the best business decision? No, but if you're going off of vibes, like Mo said, Danielson kind of did his thing. I'm just very curious as to why this is being leaked now. Like, this statement was released on September 2nd, 2023. They could have leaked that Brian was a part of this committee a week after, a month after, even 2 months after, right? They could have talked about this earlier in the month. Why is it that when CM Punk has a well-received arrival at the competing company, why is it now that Brian Danielson's name is being put
He
on
out
the
the door.
forefront?
He's
Huh?
out the door. What do you mean? He's on his
Who
retirement run. What you mean?
out the door? I mean, yes. Simultaneously, I mean, he was on broadcast this past week on Dynamite saying that he was going to be involved in All in 2024. And on
Okay, but
top of
they
that,
didn't
Tony,
name drop. They didn't name drop AEW earlier on. So I feel like for them, if they want to get a little bit of just like attention, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, well we're the whole reason why he's there." So thank guys. That's all that it
but
is.
it could be. I just find it suspicious in the sense that, like, you waited until a positive reaction was generated from Punk's kind of
They
going to
want to take
WWE
credit
to say
for it.
uh, that makes sense then. Now that that's kind of put into perspective, that makes sense. But I don't know. I just think that this is just, once again, I think sound decision making from Brian Danielson. I just think that it's very, very interesting timing that they put this out now. But I'm not going to dig a little bit deeper. Oh, I will say this because I actually meant to say it the first time. WWE is the red button of pro wrestling. There is a lyric Drake put out for all the dogs.
Not
He put
Dre.
out a he said there was a lyric that he put out. He said, "If I press this red button, dog, everybody getting heaven gated. If I press this
I
red button, like it's over, it's up."
I'm not
And I'll
taking
put this
Drake
into
seriously. Pick somebody
I'm
else.
putting this in, but hold on, I'm gonna put this into some
Pick Nicki
perspective for you.
Minaj.
I'm gonna put this into perspective for you, right? I'm gonna put this into some perspective for you. It is TV right season for WWE, right? Their deal with the USA Network is expiring. They have CM Punk, they have Cody Rhodes, they have Jade Cargill. In addition to
Mhm.
retaining Roman Reigns, in addition to retaining Seth Rollins, in addition to successfully being able to contract and facilitate celebrity talent like Bad Bunny. like the US champion Logan Paul. WWE is going into 2024 and they're going to secure a bag. But let me also run this by you.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who's been interested in WWE's TV rights deal? Warner Brothers Discovery,
Mm.
Mhm.
the same network that hosts AEW, the same network that Tony is leaning on for funding, for partnerships, for this multi-year, multi-platform deal. All WWE, if this is true, all that WWE has to say to all that WWE has to say to Warner Brothers, oh, you want us? We want exclusivity.
Mm.
If you want us, we can't be on the same network as AEW. And by the way, we have CM Punk. By the way, we have Cody Rhodes. By the way, we have Jade. So, you figure that out. And I think that is just such a genius move because this whole time, Tony and I, it's a war between Tony and Nick, in my opinion. Not Tony and Hunter, not Tony and Vince. It's Tony and Nick. And they keep going tit for tat, and Tony doing a little bit of petty this, and Nick is doing a little bit of petty that. Nick Khan is putting WWE in a position to do the ultimate tit for tat. Meaning,
Mm.
if you try slapping my face one more time, I'm punching you in the mouth, and you're not getting up. So you could throw shots if you want to. You could do this attendance record thing if you want to. Because if I press this red button, it's up. It's up. That's all I had to say about that. But I want to know how.
Wait, I have
What
one
do you
more
say?
comment. Do
Go
you
ahead.
think that if they acquire Sasha Banks at this point, being that they took Cody, Jade, and now CM Punk back, do you think Mercedes could save this? Or it's just they're far gone? It's it. It's a wrap.
I don't think AEW is far gone. I think that they still have a very, very deep talent roster, and I think that they are on the brink of something incredibly special with Swerve. But they need to not play around. They need to not play around with Swerve. They need to not play around with the talent that they do have that is super valuable to them. But I just think that they, once again, don't what's at your disposal. You know who the fans want to be at the top. Do what y'all got to do. I don't think it's over for AEW. They're just in a very, very difficult position because they gave their competitor money. But moving past that, the most important thing, the second, what's more important than what's now is what's next. You have what's next in your locker room. Just don't be stupid. But
Okay.
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
that. But moving on.